everybody. Welcome to another edition of the show called The Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. I'm here with talent. I'm here with Fig. Comedians who've been in the game for a long time. These guys have been in everything comedy related. I can't. Is there anything you guys haven't been this comedy related? Maybe that's easier to say. Maybe that's.
I unlike talent, I haven't done porn. Yes.
Talent, this such thing as comedy porn? I didn't know there was comedy porn. But hey,
it is.
There'd be that.
It is. It really is. You didn't know that?
I thought of so many jokes just now but this is a family show. I'm not gonna do those kind of jokes, but I will do them off the air. I will come back to this. We'll come back to this joke. Anyway, we're gonna jump into the show. We're going to jump into the show first with the COVID report. The funny thing is on today's COVID report, I think the NBA, again, they're trying to do groundbreaking things. Like the NBA, they created a bubble. I think all the teams started to follow behind this. Now I think they're doing ready to do something again, but they are offering vaccinated seating. And it seems like you can get vaccinated when you go to the games and or prove that you had a vaccination, and then they're going to allow you in games. And Miami Heat is the first one who's starting to allow this to happen in the next couple of games. Because the NBA, they said officially they want to start allowing fans in the games by the time the playoffs come around, which makes perfect sense. I get it. So they're thinking that this is a way, again, to get ahead of it. So you guys know about how the NBA is, right? Talent, I can't say, you already know they're going to be ahead of the game.
That's pretty smart. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that because you talk about having a game plan. That's a pretty smart game plan to have. And it's an incentive because you know how they had a branding struggle in the beginning because especially with our people of color was very suspect and I don't think I'm going to take it thinking, because of history in this country. And that's actually a good plan, an incentive for that person who's on the fence of getting the vaccine. That's a fanatic. Like I want to go to the playoffs, whatever the case may be, and you may have just changed somebody's mind. I think that's dope.
Yeah, I think so too. Fig, what you think?
Man, I don't know about getting vaccinated at the game, but I could see a thing where America moving into a thing where if you don't have your vaccine or your card that says that you've been vaccinated, that you may not be able to enter government buildings, you may not be able to fly on planes, certainly quite possibly getting into, arenas doing sporting events and stuff like that, possibly even grocery shopping. I mean, listen, man, it's a different time now. If you're not vaccinated, I could see them being able to cut you out of a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? What if you can't go to the grocery store if you don't have a card saying that you've been vaccinated or something like that? I could really see something like that happening. And they saying that it's for public safety.
I think that's a great idea, especially if they create an app and the app just says you got vaccinated or you didn't, and you maybe barcode or scan or something, you're allowed to go in places. And hey, maybe that's where the NBA is going because with this vaccination thing that they're trying to do, I'm telling you, I think it's a great idea. I think they said, you know what, you can't go in here unless you show proof of your vaccination. I think it's a great idea. No, okay. Wow. I thought I saw somebody got traded because I saw Jimmy Garoppolo's name just now pop up. I thought I saw him get traded. So I just jumped there for a second. Okay, now let me talk about the next topic that I want to talk about this extensively. Here's in case you missed it, in the NHL, referee Tim Peel got banned forever now from reffing a game because he got caught on the mic calling during the Nashville Predators, and he wanted to give the Nashville Predators another penalty in the win last night over the Detroit Red Wings. He got caught on the mic during the game live saying that he wanted to make sure he gave them another penalty before the play ensued. So as we all know, you're not supposed to say, as a referee, you're not supposed to say you're definitely looking out to call a foul on a player, no matter what sport it is. But it goes to show the talent. Listen, these leagues, man, they're not as straight and narrow as they pretend to be. What you think?
Well, you just said it. They aren't. And the funny thing about that is, who always knows that already? The players. Mm-hmm. You know that when you're out and you suit up on any field or court, that when you play that game, you know if it's on the up and up or like, yo, the refs are killing us or the fix is in or whatever. They know that firsthand. Then us watching at home or on TV, and we like that was fishy. But we give a benefit of the doubt most of the time. But now you see, I think the biggest thing that came out is that year that they had all the referees, busted the referees because they were gambling. So the fact that they had money and interest in who won and by how much, they were calling calls that they needed to call to stop the spread from being whatever for the team to win. So I mean, this is nothing new.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Fig, what you think?
I can see it, man. I can see it happening. Anytime you have human beings involved in something, there's always the possibility of human error, and humans have emotions. And to think that our referees that referee sports in general don't have feelings and are not swayed by those feelings, it's just like it's really irrational to think that, we'll put it to you this way. A player like Draymond Green, for instance, has the reputation for going back and forth with referees. And because of that, his team is refereed a little differently. Why? Because the referees have feelings. They can't ignore the fact that you always berating them and in their face and stuff like that. They have to react to it. So I can see that in all sports, hockey, baseball, baseball is a little different. You can actually beat people up, seems like. But in other sports where referees are respected, it seems like, that's very possible.
Okay, let me just throw this out there to both of you all and say, in the NBA, in the NFL, Major League Baseball, if you get caught cheating like that, there are certain things that happen to you because you affect certain things. So I guess my thing is now, if an NHL or any major league referee gets caught doing this thing, do you think there should have criminal charges filed against them? That's what you challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you cheat, man, the livelihoods of everybody's are affected.
Right.
And that could be monetarily, that could be the reverse of advantages that you give to the other person that they wouldn't have gotten if it went the other way. So this controls people's destiny in some instances. Let's say we catch them at the college level right before you go pro, and the fix is in. That fix could change somebody's whole life, not just one person at a time, but a team life of where their future would have went had they won that game. Let's say they was going to win the game, but by you playing around and the fix is in and you call bogus calls, change the outcome. You change the outcome for real.
Yes, I agree with that.
The whole outcome.
Fig, what do you think?
Man, he's absolutely right, because look, even if it comes down to the point where you're not letting the team cover the spread, it hurts on so many levels. It hurts both of the teams, because just say, for instance, like Talon said, what if a player has a contract that's incentive based or can gain a certain amount of money based on incentives, and your refereeing or your officiating of this particular sporting event prevents this particular player from hitting certain marks, which at the end of the day will affect his bottom line, affect his pockets. It's a slippery slope. It can go so many different ways. The betting thing, teams winning and covering the spread, players with incentives, just so many different things that can happen. I believe that you should be bonded, because there's certain jobs that pay a lot less where you have to be bonded in order to get that job. And referee is of a nature where it should be that also.
I agree. I think criminal charges should be filed maybe along the lines of I'm not even sure what the exact charge should be just yet, because I don't know where it could be, but it needs to be not civil, it needs to be criminal, because it affects organizations, it affects players, it affects cities, I look at it like this from the perspective of this. If your team loses consistently because of the ref calls like that, that affects the economy because people now won't start going to the games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in certain cities, they won't start going. It affects everything. I don't think people look at it and that in depth, but that's how I look at it. I look at it like that ripple effect. You drop that stone in that pond, that ripple effect just keeps going and going and going and going. And I think unless you nip it in the butt, and the way to nip it in the butt is to put some charges against referees, because referee can steer the game one way or the other versus trying to stay neutral. That's my two cents.
I mean that's an accurate opinion because, again, bro, especially there's so many ways you can look at this. We can look at this strictly financial and say, hey, because we bet on sports, it's criminal.
Right.
That's one way. Then you got to look at it like in the way through the lens of livelihoods.
Right.
Through the lens of livelihoods, you change people's life for real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Think about that. I think of that every time I see a championship like boxing bout and it looked like somebody threw the fight. That changes everything. The trajectory is off. Everybody's life after that moment in time, it's done. When Bruce Seldon threw a fight to Mike Tyson, and when they went back to the replay, he didn't even touch him. He went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
From that point on, I said to myself, Bruce Seldon must have already got paid enough money to say, this is going to be my last fight. He had to make that conscious decision because it was.
Yeah, it was.
But what if it was? What if this is a guy on the rise, and you take that pay, or the ref took that pay, and the ref says, "Well, we're just going to call this fight this way, or whatever," or the judges, whoever it is. You change the trajectory of the future for human beings, livelihoods.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Vic.
No, I was gonna say it's kind of funny that he brought boxing into it. Like I can't blame Bruce Seldon, man. You get in a fight with Mike Tyson, man. As soon as he get close, I'm falling down. I'm like, who wants to get hit by Mike Tyson?
But if that's the case, you should have fell when you signed the contract.
But you know who that really affected in the fight game? Who just unfortunately just passed away? Marvin Hagler. When he lost that fight to Sugar Ray Leonard, he thought that he got robbed and the judges robbed him. He never fought again.
But he did get robbed. If you saw the fight, he did get robbed. That was one of the fights. I saw that years ago. That was one of the fights that made me think from certain points on, fighting is fixed. I watch fights now, but I also know from that moment on, I also know it depends on who they want to win the fight. You may like the fight, but it really depends on who they want to fight.
It's only if it goes to distance. You can end all of that by not letting it go to distance.
I mean, that's obvious. Yeah, that's obvious. I'm just saying, if it goes to the distance, you got to sit there and say, okay, who's going to win this fight? Whoever the refs, whoever the judges want to win. Speaking of cheating, the Major League Baseball now came out with a referendum last night where they are going to make sure they crack down on any foreign substance. Any foreign substance caught on a ball by opposing team, by a pitcher or anything else, the pitcher automatically gets tossed and the team can forfeit the game. So now the Major League Baseball, before they used to let the ball circulate and rotate, starting this season, they are going, anytime the ball goes out of play and anytime the ball gets passed around to certain players, they are going to inspect the baseball. They passed this law last night for Major League Baseball because they want players to hit the ball more, and they have said through on the press release that there are more foreign substances on the ball than people actually know. So when you hear all that, Talent, what you think?
I think I don't blame them. Yeah, that's a big cheating sport, man. And it's crazy. So I think that's a good thing to do. You should crack down on the baseballs because it's not a lot of places you can cheat in baseball, and that's one of them that has a reputation of being super frequent. Mm-hmm. So if this is what they think or see or deem the way to cut down on that, I see it. I'm good. I'm good with that.
Me and you both. Fig, what you thought?
I don't know, man. I think whatever can make baseball a little more exciting, they should do it, man. Juice the bats, you know what I mean? Juice the ball, let them do steroids. And you know what even would make baseball exciting? make the bases 50 feet as opposed to 90. So it'd be a shorter distance to run, get more people on base so they can score more. Every inning, what you need to do is to take the base and just move it in 1 foot. It's like for 9 innings, just keep moving it closer and closer so the guys can get on base more and stop making the field so big. Bring them in. Why it got to be 300 feet? Bring it in at like 200 feet so we can have more home runs.
Bro, that's actually not a bad idea. Somebody about to cut you a serious paycheck. About to cut you a serious paycheck. Let me talk about my man I've been talking about for going on 8 days now, Mr. Deshaun Watson. I want to give kudos to Deshaun because now his attorney is fighting back. They came out yesterday and they set up some bullet points and said that they are going to be able to put some holes through everybody who's saying something and everything else, because they said in their press statement, they said there's so many big holes in this person's story that you could drive a truck through, to make a long story short. So I'm not surprised. My only surprise is right now is that Deshaun Watson's attorney said something before the case started, but that's my surprise. I thought they were not going to say anything and then just say they hit him with everything. Bam.
Yeah, but that's playing legal chess. They're playing legal chess.
Right.
Which is smart. Because we live in a society where the court of public opinion can sway something, yay or nay, they're battling in the court of public opinion. Mm-hmm. And up until this point for the last couple of weeks, the other side has been hogging up the media coverage.
Right.
They've been hogging it up. So his lawyer said, okay, well, before we even go into the actual proceedings, let's play back. They're trying to put the fear of God in him. Let's put some fear back. Because me and you, we talked about this, and I'm telling you, I knew it had to be holes because everything's wrong with this. Let's say it's 17 women. They all masseuses?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who needs 17 different masseuses?
Mm-hmm.
So it's something wrong with that alone. And then you go, oh, we got the text messages. Okay. But make sure you got all the text messages. Don't just play the last two. I'm sorry. Go. Let's go further back. Whose boobs are those?
Big, what you think?
I'm right, man. Like, how did you get there? Michael Jackson said, "How did you get here, baby? How did you get to Deshaun Watson's house under what? Like, everybody's a masseuse, and he met them all on social media. If you a masseuse, why you on all your businesses on? So all these women had their massage business on social media, and he only had a massage from them one time, and then they all came out together at the same time. And now the attorney is finding holes in their story. It makes me think of a song. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house.
Okay. All right, please.
Holes. Holes. Holes in the house.
Okay. You're killing me. You're killing me with the singing. Let's move on, man. Since we talk about the NFL, man, let me just throw into the NFL because this is something interesting. The word came out this morning. The Washington football team is going to stick with the name, the Washington football team. They're not going to go with a name. They decided, you know what? We're going to stick with this name because we have no name. So we're going to run with that. And we think it's a great idea. Now, when I saw them talking about that on the Sports Center this morning, I was like, that must be a joke. You can't be serious. And they're dead serious. They're going to stick with the name. They're not going to call themselves any other name. So the owner made this decision. Washington football team is going to be the name of the Washington football team.
They cheap.
Yes.
How cheap can you be? You got all these people that did all these designs and came up with the names, this power luncheons and coming up with all this stuff for a whole year. Been to court with every Native American assembly and did all these things and all these people waiting, and they hit them with, what it is? They hit them with them estimates, for the licensing of the name. And the chief owner said, you know what? It wasn't a bad year. Washington football team. Kind of catchy. No, it's not catchy. It's remedial.
Yeah.
How the hell are we in a whole league of Jaguars and the Jets and the Dolphins and the Steelers and then you go, yeah, we We just watching him because that's where we're from. Cheap.
That sucks. That absolutely sucks. I think. Fig, what you think?
I think it's a billionaire tantrum. It's basically you took our name, now we're gonna take our ball and go home. We don't want a name. We don't need a name now. We had a name. You took our name, and now we're not going to get another one. That's it. I'm taking my ball. That's it. It's like you in the park and you lose a game, and because you lose and they pick and you on the sideline and nobody picked you, you're like, all right, I got to go home now. That's my ball. I got to take my ball and go home. We're not going to pick another name. Y'all are ridiculous, man.
Right.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah,
pick a name. You know what? The NFL should get together and say, you have to have a name.
Yes.
All of the other teams need to get together and be like, yo, you need a name, man. You need a name.
Yeah, I agree with that part too. All right. In other news, Joe Flacco signed with Philly, and as coming off the bench. Now, I like Joe Flacco going to Philly. I don't like him coming off the bench. You know what I mean? I think with his experience and everything else, I think he should literally go in there and start. That's what I think. Because Joe Flacco could show, Hurts a thing or two. But Joe Flacco's coming to Philly.
I think he is.
Huh? What'd you say?
I think he is. I don't think he's gonna stay coming off the bench. I think this is Joe Flacco. I think he's gonna work his way to start.
Okay. But do you like the signing?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm a big Flacco fan. I always thought he was very good. And this is a good team for him. It's right down the road from where he used to stay.
Yeah.
I think he did that on purpose. If we check his what he owns, if he still got houses in Baltimore, come on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, Fig, what you think? You like Flacco signing with Philly?
I mean, I don't mind him signing with Philly, man, but they got to get his kid a chance, man. You got Jalen on the squad. You're not gonna get a kid a shot. I just man. They always taking these dudes and dusting them off and acting like they was somebody, man. And they've been losing jobs all over the place. And then you got these young guns and you don't give them a shot. And then, as these black quarterbacks get older, you don't give them another shot. They don't get another opportunity to go and to play somewhere else. Is very rare, man. I just when is this kid going to get a shot? He was behind the guy that just left, man. Carson Wentz. Now he replaced Carson Wentz for a couple of games. 5. His whole NFL career is 5 games. And now you're going to bring in somebody else and put him back on the bench. I'm like, yo, when does this dude get a shot?
No, they're not coming back and put him on the bench. He's starting. Joe Flacco is coming off the bench.
Yeah, they saying he's starting, but I believe Flacco is going to get that position. I mean, I can't see him, behind. A bigger problem is I think Fig might be too old for this show. His memory just popped out. You see that just now? He said the lady who cooks all the time in this house, Mom.
Wow. Yeah, man. Well, walk into a Wentz, man. That's the dude they got rid of. I mean, you got rid of this dude. I don't know, man. It's a lot of pressure when you got a veteran quarterback on your squad that could possibly be taking your spot, and you're basically a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, but that's the position of the game. That's the way the game is played. You have to always play at your top level. And if your quarterback, somebody's always gunning for your job because you got a team you have to steer. I think it's fair. Yeah. I think it's fair. But if I'm Jalen Hurts, I ain't worried about Joe Flacco. I'm not worried about him at all.
I think, what I think what Philly and some of these other teams really should be focusing on is shoring up their offense and their defense. You know what I mean? And give your quarterback a shot to actually perform at a high level.
Listen, they are focusing on that. That's the thing that they're trying to do. Speaking of focusing and speaking of quarterback, Marcus Mariota took a pay cut yesterday, a huge pay cut. He took off. He was supposed to make $10 million. He took off $7 million and 3.4 so he could stay with the Raiders. But what he did, I'm not sure if he's looking at it the way other people are looking at it, but he made himself now a perfect trade bait. But Marcus Mariota now staying with the Raiders seems like it's a good idea because he still can back up Derek Carr. So my question to you, Talent, is should Marcus Mariota have taken that doing that pay rate, or should he have waited till he got cut to play with another team? Because I don't know.
I would have waited. I would have waited till I got cut. I think it is funny that you mentioned that. What if you take the pay cut and they still send you off? That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, but I would have waited, got cut, and then signed with another team of my choice or something like that. But I guess, people get caught up in the rhetoric and nostalgia of where they are. And I think that's a very dangerous thing in sports, period. Like, you have to keep a business mind in this thing. You have to. No matter who you are, the position, who you're playing for, because some of them people get caught up in that. And little slogans like even like once you're a Knick, you're always Knick. And those slogans, I want to stay here. It's a business, man, and you don't want to get caught on the wrong end of that deal because the owners and the general managers, they're always going to do business first.
Yeah, all day. Great. What you think?
I don't think it's really bad for Mariota because he took a pay cut, but what you guys don't know is that they opened up a new franchise in Vegas. It's called Mariota Pizza, and he has a franchise out there, and it's doing very well. He's making a lot of money on Mariota Pizza, and he needs to stay there to be able to run that franchise.
It's amazing how you know where all the food stuff is.
Yeah. Okay. On that note, where do you guys think Alex Smith is going to land? Alex Smith is out there. He is right now. He's floating around. Alex Smith couldn't land in Dallas. He couldn't go back to KC, maybe even Denver. I threw Denver in there because he's still floating around. I think he should try to go to Denver because of what Denver has. Denver has a lot of things. They got a lot of pieces. They got a great defense. They need a veteran quarterback right now. That's what I think. Where do you think, Talent, that Alex Smith could and should land?
Well, I think he could land just about anywhere, but I think he should land on a team where he can start. I don't think he goes to a team that he's backing anybody up right now because of where he is in his career. Mm-hmm. He's lucky enough and blessed enough to have this second chance after what he's coming from, the ailment. And if you're coming from an ailment, I know how hard he worked to get back. He wants to play. Right. He wants to be a contributor now. I don't think he wants to go somewhere and, I wonder, speaking of that, does a quarterback who's backing up, are you backing somebody up and on the low key, hoping they get hurt?
Good question. Some of them, I'm sure they are. I mean, we don't know how other people are thinking. Some of them, I'm sure they are because they want to play. But Alex Smith, Alex Smith was the comeback player of the year. He did play for Washington. He did go 4-1 last year. So I think if a team picks him up, I think a team could be doing really, really well. They might find a diamond in the rough, so to speak. What do you think? Where do you think he's going to land, Fig? Man,
with that horrific injury, if you watch, every time somebody got near that leg, man, everybody on both teams cringed. If I was him, man, I'd go to Vegas and help Mariota boost his franchise of Mariota Pizza. That's what I would do if I was Alex Smith because they was talking about cutting this dude's leg off. They were talking about cutting his leg off. He almost lost his leg. And last year when he played, every time they got near that leg, listen, man, it was tell me when you watch Washington play and somebody got near his leg, you didn't cringe a little bit, or it didn't make you a little nervous that he was going to get hit in that leg and severely injured again. I think, look, he's an athlete. I know in your mind you want to keep playing, but I think his days should be done, man. I would not want to take a chance and put this dude on my team and have him have another horrific injury to that leg. That's just me. I wouldn't want to put him on my team and take that chance.
Well, there's your answer, Frank.
Huh? I got that. But I would say this. The chances of that injury happening to him twice is like hitting a lottery ticket. You know what I mean? Like the chance of that happening. It's like hitting a lottery ticket. But I understand your point. I'm gonna throw this out there and say that wherever he goes, I think he's gonna be really good at wherever he goes if he gets a chance to play because he still got it in his arm. He still got it. You know what? I want to throw this one last thing out there, and then I want to jump into this conversation I heard on Inside the NBA yesterday because it was something else. My last conversation about the NFL is Jameis Winston seems to be really, really happy about talking about Drew Brees and following up on him. And I'm going to ask you this, Talent. Do you think Jameis Winston is going to keep the Saints up to that same level of play and getting them back to possibly deep in the playoffs? Or do you think the Saints are just overlooking this and giving him too much? What do you think about Jameis Winston and the Saints?
I say hell yeah. I know. I think just like we were talking about Alex Smith and second chances, I think this is his. When you play a certain amount of years and you go to the back of the bus, so to speak, and then you get that chance to come back up to the front seats, you show and prove. I think he's in a point in his career where he's going to above and beyond show and prove, and he's going to take that same thing. That's one of those teams that get in your head. When you play for the Saints organizations, you do think you're some sort of superhero. So I think we're going to see the superhero Winston.
Okay. What do you think, Vic? You think we're going to see a resurgence from Jameis Winston in New Orleans?
I don't even know if we can call it a resurgence because the kid was pretty damn good, throwing for over 5,000 yards, man. I think what we talk about is can we cut down on his turnovers? If we can cut down on the turnovers, this dude he's an elite level quarterback. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this, coaches matter. You know what I mean? Coaches really matter. If you have a coach and he played behind a Hall of Fame, well, he was on the team and got the tutelage of a Hall of Fame quarterback, man, in Breeze. And if he learned anything, what he talked about, he learned about the preparation and the dedication and how he went about the daily grind of preparing for a week for Sunday every single week. And I believe that he learned something. Now you add that he has a high level coach to bring him along. I think that he could take the next step, cut down on some of those turnovers, and I think he's going to ball out. I really do.
Well, the only reason why I called it was resurgent because of one simple thing. The simple thing was he was starting, then he went to another team, he got benched, and now he has a chance to come back and start again. So we'll see what happens. But let's talk about now the NBA because before I even talk about the big thing in the NBA, which is the trade deadline, and everybody and their mother is expecting Kyle Lowry to get ready to get shipped to either Miami Heat or Philadelphia 76ers. I want to talk about that in a second. But the big thing that I want to talk about was this conversation I heard that Draymond Green said, and I'm going to start with you, Talent, and I'm going to see if you saw the conversation or not. Because Draymond Green said he's the best to ever play defense, and he explained why. He said, because I get rebounds, I play defense up and up, I get rebounds, and after I get a rebound, I'm able to make the pass to the outlet and keep the thing going. He said, I'm the best ever to play the game. I got upset watching this clip because when he said it, and then they replayed it for the game last night, Shaq didn't say, nah, he's not. And Chris Webber, he was the only one who said kind of saying things like, you know what? I don't know, you ain't the best ever, but you were the best at what you're doing right this moment, but you're not the best ever. So I kind of got upset about that. The best ever? Talent, do you think he's the best ever to play defense in the league right now?
I don't think nobody can say that, bro. That's a little crazy to me that anybody could even.
He said that. He said.
First of all, I don't agree. Right? There's so many things wrong with that. I don't agree for one, and more importantly, who says that?
Right.
Like even if you thought that for a second, you don't. Damn, that's the difference in prejudice and racism, man. Because the difference in prejudice and racism is thinking it and then saying it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't say certain things. No, I don't agree with it. I think we done sat through a whole hell of a lot of basketball and years of basketball before we could just sit down and just give it to Draymond Green.
Bro, that's the first time the NBA has ever been mentioned in the, well, maybe not. I was about to say racism and prejudice at the same sense. I was about to say, but probably not. Probably not. Fig, when you heard Draymond Green's statement, what was your thoughts? Because I know you heard it about him thinking he's the best ever because of the elements of what he said. What you think?
I don't think that he's the best defensive player ever. But what I will say is he revolutionized his position because Draymond Green, he played defense at a high level. He does get rebounds, and then after he gets the rebounds, he orchestrates the offense. Like he is almost like a point forward center because he plays all three of those positions. He defends usually defends the toughest player when they go to that small lineup. He plays center. He does get a lot of rebounds and he gets a lot of assists and he brings the ball up. Once he gets the ball off of the rim or off the backboard, he's the one who brings the ball up at a fast pace and gets the Golden State Warriors into their offense. So I wouldn't say he's the best defensive player to ever play the game, but he revolutionized his position.
I don't know if I'm sitting here right now saying whether I agree or disagree with that statement. I don't know if he revolutionized that, son. I don't know. Huh?
What did he revolutionize?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if I go that far.
Who else? Who else does what he does?
Right now?
He does what a lot of people
do. Anybody in the history of the NBA. Who else does what he does?
What are we talking about? But what are we talking about? What does he do?
He's saying that
I said that I don't think he's the best defensive player to ever play the game. No, I do not believe that. But what I do believe is he revolutionized his position in the way his position is played.
What is he doing different? What is he doing different?
I'm saying Draymond Green, when they go to the small lineup, he plays center. He does play. He does defend the best player on the other team, and then after he plays defense, he gets rebounds, and then he orchestrates the offense of the Golden State Warriors and gets them into their sets.
Duncan did that. Charles Barkley did that.
Larry Johnson did that.
No.
Yeah,
Charles Barkley never had to play. Charles Barkley never played center.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I'm wrong.
Yes, he did. He did.
And Larry Johnson did.
I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Larry Johnson did.
Larry Johnson did that.
Larry Johnson did it.
Yeah, I think
the original grandmama played that position way better than Draymond.
And the only thing I would need here is I would need Stacks to help me out with the stats, and then what we have to talk about is the assist record for those players that you're named. Like how many is it? Because what I'm talking about when I say orchestrate the offense, Draymond Green brings the ball up and he passes the ball and he gets the golden, like he is the one who orchestrates the Golden State Warriors offense. And I'll just add just one piece and then y'all can say whatever y'all want. And that's the main reason when he got suspended in the finals, everybody points to that game that the fact that Draymond Green wasn't there is the reason, one of the main reasons that the Golden State Warriors lost that finals. And you can shake your head or not, but I'll tell you, most people will tell you that because
I agree with that statement. So one thing has nothing to do with the other. When you sit there and tell me somebody revolutionized the position, then you got to tell me what that means. You can't just say revolutionize is a huge word. So when you say somebody revolutionized the position, it got to be something different he's doing than that's ever been done before, and he's not.
He plays defense.
It's been done
he gets
before.
the rebound. Wait a minute. Let me finish. He plays defense. He plays the center, and then he also plays point guard. On offense, he plays center on defense and offense.
Larry Johnson did everything Draymond's doing.
But everything. Draymond does it not for one game, one series. He does it all the time. That's his position.
Larry Johnson on the Charlotte Hornets, grandmama. That's what he played.
Yeah, and let me just throw this out for the record. The way you're saying it right now, you make it seem like that Draymond does it all the time throughout the whole game. If the ball comes to him, he'll bring it up if he comes to if he doesn't see the outlet pass. When he mainly gets the rebound, the first thing he does is look to pass. First thing he does, and he throws it out and he passes it to whoever's wide open, or he'll throw the bomb. But you said revolutionize. That's why I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
you said revolutionize. Yeah, like I saw Tim Duncan do this. I saw Larry Johnson do it. I saw Charles Barkley do that. I saw
Tim Duncan play point guard?
Tim Duncan came down when he grabbed the rebound. If somebody else,
no. The question is, did you see?
Let me finish. Let me finish. I let you finish. Let me finish. Tim Duncan grabbed the ball. I'm gonna have to mute him because he want to act like he ain't want to hear me. I saw Tim Duncan grab the ball, grab the rebound, and bring up the ball as a point guard before. I've seen him do that. It's not like when you say revolutionize, you're saying something like you've never seen somebody do that thing before. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's why I said that's what got me riled up is the word revolutionize.
He ain't never did something that we ain't never did before.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't say revolutionize. Like, that word, you can't just throw it around like that. But here's my thing. What did he say? What was his reasoning that he's the best defensive player?
His reasoning was because of everything Fig's saying. He grabbed the rebound. He would throw the ball out to the outlet pass better than anybody. He would be able to start the offense better than anybody. And I'm looking at him saying, like, dude, did you not see Tim Duncan? And I keep using Tim Duncan because at that time when he came in the league,
that's true.
Tim Duncan came in. He made the San Antonio. He created them to do all the things they did. He created all of that. Tim Duncan, the first name, and obviously he forgot about Bill Russell because Bill Russell was one of the best defensive players in the game. Then, of course, nobody mentioned when you call about best defenders in the game. What happened? KG doesn't get a nod. Tim Duncan don't get a nod. Dennis Rodman, he's not up there, one of the best defenders in the game. Dennis Rodman was one of the best defenders and best rebounders in the game for years. And when he came on the Bulls, I think the Bulls got him specifically to rebound and defend. They definitely
and you're right about KG.
Yeah, and KG.
Yeah.
You never saw KG brought the ball up plenty. I watched plenty of Celtics games. He grabbed the rebound and he would bring the ball up himself. So when you say revolutionize, you're saying
no. I always say I'm talking about.
And then you laugh.
My words was specifically, I don't believe that he is the best defender to ever play the game. But when I'm talking about the stuff that he does on the offense and the stuff he does on the defense, I will go out on a limb. I'm willing to bet $100 that none of the players that you name has as many assists as Draymond Green. Not one of them.
That's not.
As a matter of fact, I'll go this far. I'll bet $100 that not two of the players put together has as many assists as Draymond Green. You pick any two of the players that y'all named, and I will guarantee you put two of them together, they don't have as many assists as Draymond Green.
Guess what? Too bad that's not the point. The point is
you used the wrong word.
Yeah. The point is revolutionize the games. What you said.
You used the wrong word. That's the point.
Yeah, you said revolution the guys in the game like you never saw them happen. Like what? Really? I've seen people do that before. I've seen them do it before. It's not revolutionize the game. You've seen somebody do something you never saw before, right?
That's Draymond Green. That's Draymond Green.
Draymond Green did not do something that we never saw before. I'm sorry. I'm not agree with that.
Well, then tell me who has as many assists as he does that you talked about. Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Charles Barkley, Grandmama. Which one of them has as many assists as Draymond Green? That's all I want to know.
Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain.
Well, first of all, you can't even compare this type of basketball to that type of basketball because the game has changed. You can't compare that to that. You can't do that.
I agree with that.
No, that's number one. And number two, if you want to compare the style of basketball to the way it was played and everything else, I still won't agree that he's the best in that position. But
I don't either.
The game now is now
more.
That's
the first thing I said. I don't believe
that. The game now is more of a 3-point shooting game than it ever has been. So the style of play has changed. It's just like Larry Bird. Look at what Larry Bird has done. Larry Bird now was a rebounder when he rebounded and passed, but they didn't collect the stats and all the stuff that he did way back then, like the way they do now. So you can't compare the two eras. So that's out the gate. That's like comparing Jordan to Wilt Chamberlain back in the. We don't compare those eras.
They're saying Wilt Chamberlain and centers, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell.
Yeah, that's why I was like, he forgot about Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell.
Chamberlain and Bill Russell what?
The most assists for centers.
Well, there you go. There you go. Let's move on to the conversation because there's a couple of things else I wanted to add real fast. And I wanted to ask. I'm gonna start with you, Talent, because this is a serious point. Do you think Ricky Rubio is going to land on the Lakers? Because their teams right now is getting ready to do fire sales, right? Kyle Lowry right now, ESPN just flashed. Kyle Lowry will probably be this time tomorrow. Will probably be on Miami or the Sixers. Ricky Rubio will probably be on the Lakers, and it looks like Denver Nuggets are trying to make a move for Lonzo Ball right now because tomorrow, 12 o'clock, 12 or 3 o'clock, the deadline ends. Somebody gonna do a fire sale. Victor Oladipo's name is out there. So I'm gonna ask you, Talent, real fast, real quick. Who do you think? What do you think about Victor Oladipo? What do you think about Ricky Rubio and the Lakers? What's your thought process right now on these fire sales getting ready to happen in the NBA? We got 24 hours.
First of all, did I say how much I love Ricky Rubio? That's one of my favorite players, for real. Like for years. Like I just thought this dude was like very, like he's got that energy and all that, and he's nice. You know, speaking of assists and stuff. Yeah, I think he's gonna. I think the Lakers definitely that's got to happen. These guys are in dire straits right now, and if anybody needs to go shopping, you know, it's like meeting that girl. She's cute in the face, but she needs some clothes. So you take her shopping. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to enhance the beauty. The Lakers need a makeover right now. Everybody's hurt, out, you know, COVID, whatever. They need to go shopping. I'll be shocked, Frank, if they just get Ricky Rubio.
Well, the Lakers are on a 3-game losing streak. We know LeBron's out. We know AD's out. We don't know when they're going back. And they're losing their position in the playoff. It's just slowly slipping. Vic, what you think?
And man, it's just kind of weird, man. And, I don't see Ricky Rubio moving the needle as far as the Lakers is concerned. He's just to me, he's like another point guard. And I think their problem is the middle. I mean, they got a lot of guys that shoot. You know what I mean? They got a lot of shooters. They got point guard. They got Schroeder. They got Caldwell Pope. They got I can't think of the white guy's name, man. He plays. They call him. I didn't call him this. The pizza delivery guy. They call him that. I don't see Schroeder making a big splash for the Lakers. If they got a big center to clog up the middle, block some shots, get some rebounds and stuff like that, I could see it. But Rubio don't move the needle with me, you know, for me on the Lakers because it seems like they got players at his position already.
Does Andre Drummond move the needle for you? Because you know, absolutely. Right now he talks like everybody thought he was going to the Nets. Well, guess what? He's flying out to LA, and he could be flying out to LA to sign the contract. If he's flying out to LA, he's going to probably sign the contract with the Lakers and not the Clippers. But also,
I can see Drummond.
Yeah. Here's what the Lakers are also doing. The Lakers are dangling Montrezl Harrell, so they're trying to trade Montrezl Harrell. So they must not be happy with what Montrezl Harrell has done for the team. I mean, that's why I look at it. Like it wasn't a sign.
That was quick. Yeah.
No, well, you know what? Listen, Montrezl Harrell is good at his position, but he can't play center. You know what I mean? And I think that's where, you know, I think that's what the Lakers, that's the hole they're trying to fill. I mean, they got the Morris brother, they got, you know, Marquise Morris that plays that same. I mean, they got point guards and they got forwards that could shoot. I could see them getting off Montrezl Harrell because at the end of the day, they really need a center.
Do you think they need to revolutionize the position?
Possibly. Hey, Talent, do you think Utah is a lock for the number one position throughout the rest of the year. Now that we passed the midway point, they're number one. They beat everybody. Do you think they're a lock for the number one seed?
West Coast, man, you can never say nothing's locked. I would like it. I think it's good for the morale and mental, of guys out there. And I think that if, especially with the main guy, like if he's feeling himself because of this, getting into this position, they may stay there. But It's hard. I would never bet on that in the West Coast.
Okay. All right. Well, in my opinion, I think Utah's a lot because they beat everybody, and they're one of the best teams I've seen, that move the ball. To me, they play like the Toronto Raptors played a couple of years ago. That's to me. You know what I mean? How they move the ball and they scored when, whoever has the ball last and they wait to the open man. Utah's playing really, really, really well to me. Fig, what you think?
I think Utah needs to give their name to Washington. I think they need to come up off that Jazz because ain't no Jazz in Utah. Why don't they let Washington? You call it the Washington Jazz. That's what they. I don't know, man. I think Utah is pretty much barring injury. They're probably a lot with the injury of LeBron James and AD and the Clippers haven't seemed to get themselves together just yet. I think barring injury, Utah will probably keep the number one spot. How many games is it left? Like maybe 30 games left, 20-some games, possibly 20.
Well, each team has a different amount of games because some teams have to make up games. You remember that?
Like average about 30, right?
Yeah. I think
it's very possible that they're able to hold that number one spot.
Actually, if you look at it, Utah has the best record in the league. So I'm like, Utah's doing it.
How many games back is the next number two?
Is the who?
Number two spot.
Number two.
Well, I didn't look at that. I'll double check. I'll answer that tomorrow because we all know the Nets plays in the East. You know what I mean, and Utah's in the West. But that's the show. We got to get a wrap up.
Wait, we just started.
Yeah, we did.
We got to revolutionize this show.
That's what we're doing. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, follow me, man, especially tonight. I got a bunch of things. I'm doing some giveaways on my show tonight. It's called When We Were White Wednesday. So it's a trivia show, music trivia show. When We Were White Wednesday. Remember
when were we white?
Take you back when we was in the 80s, when that's all the videos and music we had. You Pat Benatar, Eurythmics, what's my man name? David Bowie and all them songs. Shout. Come on, man. Frank, you in Boston. You ain't had no
man.
That's why I'm laughing.
You ain't got nothing going on if you ain't got no craft work in there.
Hold on. You don't forget about the big hair. The big hair. Everybody's remember the big hair.
So join me tonight on Twitter at It's Just Comedy, Talent the Comedian on Instagram. We giving away prizes, man.
Yeah, all right. You do that thing.
Yo, man, Talent got a lot of nerve disagreeing with me because he got a haircut and a new cup. But you can follow your boy Comedian Vic on all social media platforms. You follow me on all social media platforms.
I revolutionized the coffee mug, though.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yo, you can follow your boy on Box Seats Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. I'm here, the best damn sports on TV.
Okay.
Y'all know the name of the show, the channel, is the Humor Mill. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Tell your friend to tell a friend. Download the app. Call your cable service provider. All that and then some. I'm out. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bad time. Same bad channel.